Sure, will you please call the roll to bring our meeting into order?
Mrs. Gerken,
Here.
Mr. Parker, here. Mrs. Barwood,
Here.
Mr. Vasquez, here. Ms. Barnes.
Present. Thank you. Next, we will enjoy the pledge being led by the second graders, or a second grader at our virtual academy. If we could rise for that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was Harlem Mayberry. Dr. Durant, the vision and mission statement, please.
Yes, TPS mission is to produce competitive college and career-ready graduates through rigorous curriculum across all grade levels by implementing Ohio Learning Standard with fidelity. Vision statement, strive to be an A-rated school district whose graduates are college and career ready. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are going into section 2 for presentations. Dr. Durant, that's you.
Turn it over to Ms. Mazur.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have 2 special presentations, starting with third grade teachers from McKinley STEMM Academy. We have Shawnee Mixon and Amanda DeKay, and they are here to talk about the school's DOT project.
Good evening. Again, my name is Shawnee Mixon, and this is Amanda Kay, and we are so honored to be here to talk about the DOT project. The DOT project is actually something that we developed in the 2020-21 school year to actually address project-based learning at our school. And so we started off with the driving question, using a growth mindset, how can I tackle the challenge of building a DOT structure? And the reason why we came up with that is because in the beginning of the school year, we want to talk about a growth mindset with the students and how we can tackle challenges, especially in social emotional wellness. So we gave them that question. Go ahead and click. All right, so there you go, you can see it. And so when we asked that question, it was actually inspired also by Peter Reynolds, who wrote the book, The Dot. And it was about a young girl who was upset about her art project, and she just stabbed the paper and had a dot. And the art teacher said, well, you know what, go ahead and sign that and own up to that. And so she saw it the next day, posted on the wall above her teacher's desk. And she said, I can do better than that. And so she began to develop all these great pieces of artwork. And so we asked the students, if Vashti continued to create dots, what would she be able to create? And as you can see, the poster there, these are all the students' ideas. So again, in the 2020-21 school year, we started off virtually. And one of the things Amanda and I wanted to do, we wanted to take the classroom setting and have that opportunity to be able to take it into the home of the student. And so we actually did have art projects and things that the students worked with their parents with. The parents had great buy-in. We were able to project online. We gave a timeline of things and expectations for students to do, and it really turned out well. You can keep going. This is one of the projects of the 2020-2021 virtual. That is a student, she created a castle. And so she used index cards and she used dots. And so there's her picture. So she had her Chromebook and she was able to take a picture of herself with her dot structure and project. And she was able to write after we used a 4-square writing technique with our students. And she said, for my dot project, I made a castle. I made it because I wanted it to be big and pretty. It was challenging because some dots wouldn't stick. I love making the castle, and that was Jocelyn. So we have multiple steps to the DOT project. And as you can see, we also want to tie in, because we're a STEM school, we have to tie in, well, not we have to, but we enjoy tying in the engineering design process. And with this part of the project, we wanted to challenge the students to design a freestanding structure using toothpicks and dot candy. What they did was, we talked about the problem. They researched based information on actually how to build and create buildings that stand freestanding. And so once they did their research, they planned, they built, and then they had an opportunity to redesign if they wanted to, if they thought that they could make it better. Also on September the 15th, we celebrate International Dot Day. And this is just some of the artwork that we did. We talked about pointillism, and Amanda will talk about pointillism in our relationship with the Toledo Museum of Art. But we use some pointillism to create these structures. So we did talk about that in art history.
Okay, so again, we wanted to tie in with the Toledo Museum of Art. So before we went to the art museum, we learned about pointillism. We looked at the different artists and other artists as well that do different types of art that isn't necessarily pointillism. So that when we connected with the docents of the art museum, they knew exactly, where we wanted to go through the museum to show the students some of the artwork that we had already viewed online. And then finally, they took us into one of the studios so the students could create their own art piece. And then back in the classroom, we wanted to figure out how can we tie technology into this. So using Google Shapes to create dot art. Some students use a template that didn't feel that they were ready for that challenge of creating their own piece. So on the left, a student used a template and filled that in with digital dots. And then on the right, that was actually of the tree, a student created that on her own. For the final project, all the students were able to choose what kind of material they wanted and what subject they wanted to create. The first student chose to trace construction paper dots and then create a wolf. The bottom student used different types of beads and buttons, and then some students tied in painting with buttons and sequins. And then finally, our public presentation, Dots and Donuts. We invited parents and we invited the staff from the museum to come and interview the students and ask them about their art pieces and enjoy some donuts with them. And that was it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. We have one more presentation. I don't know if everyone follows TPS on Facebook. If you don't, please start following us. But recently we had a birthday party at Hawkins STEMM Academy for Ms. Geneva Sutton. She's a foster grandparent, and she turned 103 years old on November 2nd. And she wanted to celebrate her birthday with the teachers and the students that she loves so much at Hawkins. So we had a quick video done of that we'd like to share right now, because I just think this is so sweet. And the comments that we received from the community were very positive.
My name is Geneva Sutton. What are we doing? Celebrating me.
We are celebrating my grandmother, help her at the age. She's with the foster grandparent program, and it's her 103rd birthday today. I was looking for a helper to work in my classroom. I needed help, and the foster grandparent program offered that. And back in 2005, she joined my classroom. She just listened to the kids read and worked with the kids on basic skills.
Well, with the children, I help them with their math, and I help them with their reading, and I read to them and they read to me. I miss them when they're off on the weekend. I gotta start working on Sunday.
We started bonding, and soon after that I was moved to the 3rd grade. And I didn't think that was something that she really was interested in, but we had become friends, and she said, no, absolutely, I'll follow you with whatever grade you go to. She's here Monday through Friday, every single day. She's here 9 to 2 o'clock. And she just, like I said, she's become a friend. I see her on holidays. I see her in the summer. She works during the summer. She's a go-getter.
So happy birthday to Miss Sutton. Final presentation tonight will be to honor our retirees. If we have any of our retirees here with us tonight, please come forward and shake hands at the horseshoe, starting with Mr. Gant. Julie Ann Palambi, she is an art teacher, retiring with 25 years of service. Betty J. Miller, grade 4 teacher, 26 years and 5 months of service. Nicole Gahn, 4th grade teacher with 29 years of service. Jeannie Marie Hufford, grade 5 teacher, 30 years of service. Crystal Ford, facility site coordinator, 30 years and 1 month of service. And our final one tonight is Linda D. Myers. She's the Assistant Superintendent of Students, Family, and Community Engagement. She's retiring with 40 years of service. That's a total of 180 years and 6 months of service to Toledo Public Schools.
So we should go back to our picture taking wall to have our picture with our retirees and the board. Okay. We are finished with presentations, I believe. So we're going to go to section 3, community comments. Before we recognize the folks from the community, Mr. Treasurer, if you could review our policy and procedure on community comments, please.
Yes, the board values the input of citizens and community members regarding all aspects of the district. The board understands that education is the center of all community issues and activities, and that input is important because it allows the board to hear all views on all matters. In order to ensure a quality public comment portion during board meetings, all citizens and community members who are scheduled to speak before the board shall abide by these general rules. 1, each speaker has 3 minutes unless modified by the board president. 2, the time will be displayed for the speaker and the public to see. The treasurer will announce when the time has expired. 3, any questions that speakers would like responses to should be submitted in writing, and the board president will secure answers within a reasonable time frame, normally 7 to 10 days, depending on the amount of research required to provide a comprehensive response and the time-sensitive nature of the question. 4, board members will not engage in policy dialogue with speakers, but will use their established committee format to have substantive dialogue. The public comment section is the opportunity for the board to listen to all citizens and community members and make contact with speakers following the meeting for individual feedback and questions. The general guidelines are established as a way to provide the maximum opportunity for board members to listen to citizens and community members and provide an organized and structured procedure for feedback that will help our students and families.
Thank you. Mr. Treasurer, is Miss Anna Marie Aldapi here? I thought maybe there was a last minute cancellation on that. Yes.
Might seem to be rather low.
Okay, that's probably me. Is Ms. Aldapi here? I think maybe she,
I don't see.
okay, all right, I don't see her. So then we are going, the board will recognize Ms. Marcia Hill to come forward and present.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marcia Hill, and I am one of many members of the Dorsey Corps Association. We chose that name for the group because all of the members during our formative years resided on neighborhood streets bordered by Dorr Street, Nebraska Avenue, Western Avenue, and Burn Road. And what I would like to do is take this moment to show the support that came with our request that I'm about to pose to you. And if the friends and families of the Dorsey Corps Association could stand up, I'd appreciate it. We're very serious about this request, very. Thank you, guys. As a result, from the 2002 Building for Success 4.9 mill levy, Ryder Elementary School at 3117 Nebraska Avenue, our neighborhood alma mater, was demolished and left as a vacant lot in our community. In 2003, the goal set by TPS, Building for Success, was to authentically and appreciably strengthen the fabric of the community. Now, in 2022, the Dorsey Corps Association can reinforce this goal with the purchase of the land at 3117 Nebraska Avenue, which was the home of, again, our beloved Ryder Elementary School. We have loudly articulated our commitment to redevelop the land into a neighborhood park. Our goal is to create a welcoming family environment that encourages health and wellness. There will be a shelter erected along with picnic tables and benches, a walking trail, a designated space for a community garden, also an all-inclusive playground with swing slides, etc. To ensure that our vision becomes reality, we anticipate collaborating with like-minded community agencies, such as the Lucas County Planning Commission, Toledo Grows, the University of Toledo Urban Affairs, Toledo Botanical Gardens, LISC, and the Toledo Development Corporation, just to name a few. The redevelopment of the land will stabilize the Dorsey Corps neighborhood, attracting new families to invest long-term, which will increase the property values. With the new park, which the only available green space would be in the neighborhood, which explains why for many, many years at 3117 Nebraska Avenue has been the gathering place for the Dorsey Corps annual neighborhood reunion, which draws past residents from all over the country back home to the old Ryder School. I say affectionately. Time and time again, when environments improve, outcomes for the children improve. Not only with the redevelopment of the land and physical environment, but also the social fabric as well. If I could pose 3 questions to the board. The first one would be, what is TPS asking for the property at 3117 Nebraska Avenue? Can you guys give me an answer to that one?
We would have to respond, and we will take notes for your questions, and then we will respond in writing. We will not be able to do that here at this meeting.
Okay, and then another question that I'd like to pose is, has the property already been promised to another entity? Because I'm asking that to see if our efforts are futile. Do we have someone that is up? That's another one where you would have to wait for the answer.
Right, we will take note. The treasurer will make sure that we get your responses to you.
Okay, and then we'd like to also know what immediate steps or actions does the Dorsey Corps Association need to make to advance the process in our favor? Well, these are things that we need to know because with all earnestness, we sincerely would like to obtain the property. It's because it's our community. It's not just about developing the park. It's about revitalizing the community where we grew up. We know what it used to be. And we were heartbroken when they tore the building down. But we would like to obtain the land to make the entire community grow there. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. So we are going to move to section 4 for organizational input. And my understanding is we have a student representative here who's a 9th grader from Woodward High School, I believe involved in the Smart Student Voice Group. And his name is Philip Chandler. Philip, what would you like to say for us?
I'd like to speak about my involvement with Smarts, and I'd like to talk about the freshman orientation that we had the first day of school, and then I'd like to also talk about Start With Hello Week that we had, and our penny wars that we've starting this week, and a video from the Thanksgiving dinner we had at Woodward, thanking our staff and teachers and stuff for how much we appreciate them and stuff. My perspective of the freshman orientation, it was a great first day of school. I was showed around to every class. I was helped out during, being showed around to my classes, and I've met friends the first day of school. And something else is being part of Smarts. I've gotten myself involved in a lot of things, as in including playing sports, other clubs, even being a top role model student, AKA a top role model freshman student at Woodward High School. And, it's hot. Okay. And also, I would like to, I'm actually done with freshman orientation. It was a great freshman orientation. It was well played, well acted out this year, and hope next year it'll be better. Now, this was mentioned already from the last student representative that was here. We recently put in for a grant for our TPS Foundation for our hygiene project that we're trying to, start and make sure, we're just trying to start it and get it going to help out as much as we can around Woodward. And yeah, we're just trying to get that grant for our project so we can actually, help out. It'll really be great if we actually get the grant so we can actually help out and make a difference for Woodward and the students and peers that's inside the building. Now, Start With Hello Week, it was a nice starting off. It was a nice start to a week, coming in, saying hello, getting the other students to participate in, if, being an upstander, a top, representative student. And also, it don't hurt to say hello every day to someone, because saying hello can take a person's day very far, and it can change the whole person's demeanor. I guess that's the word. Okay, demeanor. And also, that week was a very important week too, because I've said hello to a lot of kids walking in the building, and it has made their day. Like the whole week, it made their day to even come into the school and to be there and to be happy and joyful to be there. Another thing was start with hello. All of this was made possible by Smarts and by me, you know, being part of Smarts. I was glad that I was able to be part of it, to say hello and to change a person's day and to make them enjoy being around other kids that also is polite and respectful. Now, for the Penny Wars, there's something that we're starting this week, and it was all, you know, Miss Ramirez, her being the president of the old Newsboys, and it's like a donation. She's like, this money is being put forward to help students with shoes, clothes, I believe, and, you know, just something basic to just help out and make a change. So we started that this week, and hopefully we, you know, earn enough money to do the drive and the giveaway and, you know, the donations and stuff. Hopefully. And then now the last thing I like to talk about is our video from the Thanksgiving dinner we had recently at Woodward before break. So we've all, you know, came together, multiple students, we made a video, you know, thanking different teachers and the cafeteria ladies for providing us a, you know, a safe and, you know, healthy environment, and then a safe place to be during this school year. And also it was a special thanks to the cafeteria ladies and Tackle, because if it wasn't for Tackle, we wouldn't have had the dinner that we had, like the turkeys and the donations, and I would also like to thank my principal, Mr. Rance, because he kind of put the whole thing together for real. And we just came together, made videos about, you know, thanking teachers, how thankful we are of them for caring about us, our safety every day, our health, and our, you know, our personalities. And to wrap this up, we all are very thankful for the Woodward staff and students within the building. And we'll also, well, actually, that's to end it there. We're just thankful. Just end it there.
So we're not going to see the video? I was waiting for the video. Sorry, okay.
I wish we were able to show the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Avishkar. He made the video.
Is it on the YouTube channel? Well, all right, we're going to try to see the video at some point, but let's move to the rest of our organizational input and see what we can come up with, okay? So we don't have anyone from Parent Congress today, but we do have Mr. Emilio Ramirez from TAAP.
Thank you for that great presentation. And I'd like to do a shout out to Linda Myers. Just, you know, we worked a lot through the years, 40 years. I haven't worked 40 years, but I've been with you a lot, 26 years here. Has always been a person of respect, honor, and trustworthiness that I'm going to miss. So I thank you. I got to say this. There was a time she was a very successful elementary principal, and I was a young high school principal. And she moved into the high school principal slot. I thought, why? why. Some of you may not know, high school principals, in order to do it right, you got to get there about 6:30 in the morning. And then you are there at about 10, 11 at night because of volleyball, basketball, football, band concerts, orchestra concerts, everything. And I know her husband is over there nodding his head. He knows that the time that was. And I always respected her for doing that and taking that challenge on. So thank you. You'll be missed. Thank you. Also want to make a shameless plug. Old News Boys is this Friday. And you heard mentioned from the student here. And my wife is the president this year. She is in the paper. They just did the scholarship. Jim Gold is on that scholarship committee. I believe 12 out of the 13 or 11 out of the 13 are TPS students. That 12 out of the 13 that received $5,000 from Old News Boys, each of them. Also, right now we are in our, I think, third week of shoes and coats. We have done over 1,000, because I manage that piece of it, over 1,000 coats and over 1,000 shoes within the first 3 weeks of opening up the window. We'll probably end up with 3,000 or 4,000 of each item. So sometimes you hear of, there's some other coat drives out there and they do about 500 or 600 and they do a one day and they give them away. But I know that Old News Boys has kind of just been there for 93 years and just does its thing. But it is a lot of work from the people that volunteer and support that. And I appreciate everybody that supports Old News Boys through the years and helps collect and do everything. I know Linda gave me a big check today, so we're all happy. But I do wanted you to help support that. You'll see us out on the red trucks this Friday, and tomorrow is the banquet. So you're all are welcome. I have extra seats if anybody wants to go here at the TAAP table. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. And I do think we have the video queued up for the Woodward students' presentation. So if we could just watch that, and then we'll be finished with organizational input.
I would like to thank all the teachers that are going to be in my years coming now from until I hit senior years for being able to support me in my dreams at TPSI, and thank you to staff.
Thank you, teachers, for having patience with us.
Alright, thank you guys for keeping us on the right track.
Thank you for teaching us even when times get tough. I appreciate all the CPOs in Woodward for being so kind to everybody.
Thank you, Health Clinic, for helping with my mental health.
Thank you to all my teachers for supporting me and helping me through all the things that I need help in.
Great.
Thank you, cafeteria staff, for keeping us safe.
Thank you, counselors, for leading us on the road to graduation.
I'd like to thank all the teachers that have been there for me throughout the 4 years of high school.
Thank you, coaches, for care.
We're really thankful for you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I'm so glad you got to see that. Really appreciate it. Well done. We are to section 5 comments by the board, starting with Mr. Vasquez, if you're ready.
Yes, thank you. First thing I want to do is thank you for your presentation. That was a great presentation. And I'm sure that teachers don't hear thank yous enough, near enough as they should. So I'm really glad that you took that upon yourself to do. The other thing is that I think that during your presentation, one of the things I want to say, which made it just an excellent presentation, was I could tell that it was from your heart. And I think that's more important than anything anybody could say. You spoke very well I think you represented everybody very well. And I think that a lot of the things that you said that helped you and things that you did to help other people were very important. And I think one of the things that you got across to me is that you're exactly the kind of person I want to be around. You're exactly the kind of person I want to meet. You're exactly the kind of person I want to see at the beginning of my day. You're probably exactly the kind of person I want to see at the end of my day. Just want you to know that through your presentation, and we don't know each other, but boy, I sure would like to get to know you. I can tell from the way you talk. So, and I do appreciate that. I want to talk about Mrs. Myers. You know how disappointed I am regarding how lucky you are. And I've told you that already over and over again. We've worked a lot together. We've had the opportunity to work a lot together. You're a very, very class act. You're very professional. We've tried to deal with some difficult issues, and you've always done that in a very, very professional way. So just want to know you're going to be missed. I have Dr. Grant, just so you know, I've asked her if she would be available for consultation and to help out. So it wasn't really, I probably shouldn't do that. But if she would be available, I appreciate that very much. I think that's all I have. See, I keep going too until I say, I think I'm done.
Thank you. A few things. First, I would like to thank the McKinley staff because that was an excellent presentation. I really, I need to get back out to your school. Like, I love your school. So I would be interested in seeing from beginning to end more than just what the video presentation allowed. Also, we spoke briefly, but Peter Reynolds was, I ran into him at a conference several years ago, and he's so inspirational as an author. So I'm so glad to see you kind of pick up the mantle and run with it. I tried for many years to get free books from him. That didn't happen, but you never know, we can try again. Geneva Sutton, could we all strive to be like her? Amazing. I don't think I could do the 9 to 2, 5 days a week, right? Coming in, and I mean, that's at 103. The retirees, certainly, we thank all of our staff members. We wish them well in retirement. Obviously, we couldn't do what we all do here without the dedication that the staff presents and provides to this district. Specifically, Linda Myers, she knows me from back in my parenting days, being involved in the PTO and when Caitlin was at Beverly. So we go back a long ways, and she is actually the reason that I am sitting here on this board today. She kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and so I finally caved. But again, we were supposed to go out together, not separately. So we will try and talk her into maybe coming back down the road when she's had a little breather, right? Sorry, hubby. And then to Philip Chandler. I am so proud. Every month I get to say this, I'm so proud that SMARTS exists. And you are exactly the reason why we push so hard to have SMARTS in this district. All of the different things that you were talking about, whether it was the freshman orientation or the start your week with hello, or the video that you just showed, that is just the epitome of what we want, is the empowerment of our students to feel that they are making some decisions that impact their education and impact their school day. So we're so thankful that you're here. And it's one of the reasons, I'll tell you, I choose Woodward every year for graduation speeches because, and you guys don't get it next year either, because I love Woodward. It is like a family there. And so I choose to, that is one of my graduation ceremonies each year. is because of that reason. Plus the fact that, my husband graduated in 75 and, heaven forbid I not be at Woodward. So, we have Polar Bear alumni in the family. And then I just want to give a shout out to Ohio School Board Association for the wonderful conference that we attended. Again, the smart students chosen to give a presentation about smarts, well attended, and I will tell you, I'm so proud of what you presented and how you presented, and hear from so many school board members about wanting to do something very similar. So think of the impact that you're going to get to have on the state of Ohio. Pretty cool. And then, unfortunately, I do have a Debbie Downer moment with the state legislature yet again, overreach of government. I saved that for last, and I apologize for that, but I feel like we're a broken record about the state legislature. I know they're going into the lame duck session. We need to really watch what they're going to be doing. Trying to remove some of the power from the State Board of Education is uncalled for. It's unacceptable. It should not happen, and it is a extreme overreach of the legislative power. Unfortunately, there's no checks and balances in our state legislature right now, and it's pretty sad. My hope for the coming year, and again, I'm not trying to get political, but I hope that we can find the purple somewhere, if we can dig deep and find the common ground where we are focused on public education, funding it the way it needs to be funded, not giving dollars to private entities with no accountability, and a true focus on economic impact in our communities, true school choice, because where else can you get all that we offer? Nowhere. There's nowhere but public education can you receive all of these opportunities for our students. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I can go on my rampage. I apologize. Thank you.
Madam President, I want to acknowledge the presentations as well. I'm a product of McKinley, the other building, and so the legacy of McKinley is great, and the Dots and Doughnuts project is amazing. Thank you for the effort and time that you put in. What can we say about Granny Sutton? Excited about her energy and her commitment. That's to be admired. Also to our retirees, we want to salute and celebrate you on this afternoon. And Mrs. Myers, I have not known you as long as so many others, but just a moment with you is impactful and influential. And so we salute and celebrate you as well. And Philip, what can we say about you, my friend? You said you was nervous, but you did an amazing job. And so thank you for being that voice, and your presentation was amazing. Thank you again. As Mrs. Barwood shared, some of our colleagues went to the OSBA, and it was a great time and great representation of TPS and presentations that took place as well. Sometime being the third person, you sound like a broken record of saying everything's already been said. But nevertheless, it was a great time. But I want to take a moment to say congratulations to Mrs. Barwig on becoming the president of the OSBA and continue to be that light, not just on behalf of TPS, but on public education, and always a fighter for student-centered decisions. So we celebrate you, and I know you'll do well. Last thing I want to acknowledge is the Toledo Early College and the Toledo Academy, Technology Academy of Engineering, with the 1-2 punch of being recognized as the first and second best magnet school in Ohio. And so that is absolutely amazing. And the investment that our district has put into that is noteworthy. So we celebrate and acknowledge them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. You said the third part is hard. Think about the fourth one. Goodness gracious. First, Ms. Mazur, I think we have comms people we need to hire ASAP right here between these two. I mean, come through video. Okay, you did that by yourself? Okay. Well, okay, smart. We hire them now, please, Miss Major. Miss Myers, what I'm gonna do, I'm getting so much trouble without you. Like she is like literally like my buffer to what I really want to say a lot. And for those who know me, that's a tough job and she does it well. Just thank you so much for, your heart, your dedication, and understanding me. That's the challenge. I want to take this moment. So it was so much that we all said, but I really want to take this moment to give everyone in this space their flowers. I know it's sometimes hard to do that when so much is going on at state level, and so much is going on in our community, and so much is going on in our personal lives that we sometimes forget that we forget to appreciate each other and appreciate people showing up daily. And without, our staff all the way, I mean, I won't name all the positions, but all of our staff members, our union leaders, our cabinet, our admin, even my board members, I want to thank you because I know sometimes with everything it gets tough. And I know sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough. And sometimes it's like, when it's going to end, when can we just teach our babies? But thank you for showing up. Thank you for always allowing me grace when I get to acting out in good trouble. And just thank you for making me a part of this family. I am a proud TPS mom, and I'm even a prouder board member because I know what it takes, what we're fighting daily. Like I said, at state level, because of bigots, that slipped out. And, in our community, unfortunately. So I thank you all for just being who you are in our district for not only my children, but all of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't help but have my own trip down memory lane. These presentations were very rich today. And many of you know I spent 30 years in the district before I got on school board. So it's hard not to be sort of, maybe when you get to a certain age, memories are like so important that you even have them, right? I guess I remember that. I want to say that, with Granny Sutton in 2005, I was at LP Stewart with Mrs. Bryant when she was a kindergarten teacher, and Granny Sutton was called into service, and she has been following her ever since. So I do have a connection there that I enjoyed revisiting during that time. Philip, microphone's fun, right? I mean, that microphone is fun, right? Like you really get a chance to like really hear yourself. That's called finding your voice, and we loved having you find your voice. In 1982, the first high school I worked in was Woodward High School. So I go way back at Woodward as well. And I got to say, education has come a long way, let's just say, all the way around. We've come such a long way since that time. So it's hard for me not to be thinking of my Woodward family, and it's always been like a family there, where our social life, even the staff members and the faculty, they, their lives revolved around the teams and going to the games and supporting each other and supporting the students. So it was good, Dan, and I'm glad that it continues to have that legacy of being a family. I want to say something about DOTS, and I'm just going to say Ms. Barwig would have been the one to usually say this, but art is work, right? Art is work, and we love seeing that art being incorporated into our magnet project-based learning academy. So kudos, because we want to see more and more of that for sure. Ms. Myers, hopefully, I didn't work, we were in different feeder patterns, right? So I was working in the Libby feeder pattern and you were in the Bowser feeder pattern. And so I knew of you and I didn't really work with you closely. One of the first things I did when I retired was I worked in private practice and at the Zeph Center. And I remember calling you about a student. You really didn't know me. I'm just somebody calling from an agency. And I kind of dreaded making that call because all my years working in the schools, I dreaded getting those calls, right? So I didn't like it when the agencies were going to call me because I didn't know what, and you were just like completely nonplussed about it. It was so just genuine. How can I help? Who's the student? I'm on it. And you were on it. It wasn't because you knew me. It was because you picked up the phone and someone asked for some help with a student in your building at Bowser High School. And I will never forget that. It was just nothing to it. It was just part of your day. And it's what you did without, batting an eye. So put me at ease about being on the other side of the table to be calling into a school asking for help instead of, being the one summoned by someone in an agency. So that has always stuck with me. And then of course, since I've been on the board, it's been quite a pleasure to work with you. And I really appreciate all of the time you spent with our kids, our families, and then as a leader in the administration. So that's been a pleasure to see that unfold. I want to say something about, I want to say one more thing about Ms. Myers. Wasn't there a commercial where, where the punchline I think was, I know, we'll get Mikey. Let's get Mikey. And I'm thinking of whenever there's a job, like every job, anybody asks like, what's going on? Who's cleaning that mess up? Who's fixing that? Where is this landed? Who's doing it? And the answer was always, I know, we'll get Linda. And so, I mean, that's been my experience since being a board member. Like, wait, what do you mean? It's on Linda's desk? How did she land with that? So thank you for always being the one to take on every single thing, no matter how hard, how messy, how delicate, how sensitive. It's like, let's get Ms. Myers. And you have stepped up every single time. And I think all of the leadership that is coming behind you has a lot to learn from that aspect. And the buck stops. It just will stop, and it will stop right here, right now. And we're going to fix this and move on. So that is something that stuck with me after I was on this board. I do want to say something about Capitol Conference. As a delegate to their assembly, blah, 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 this is all very boring. I had to go to this meeting that lasted for most of one of the days. So I missed out on a lot of the presentations and a lot of the work. And this brings me back to, the continuous attack on public education and from the State Board of Education, from the state legislature, and around Ohio, it is starting to come directly from some school boards. And so we had quite a battle over some things that were, they tried to make it sound like it was about parent rights when really it was about sneaking in more opportunities to hate. And those same people who came to our conference to try to convince our state association to, or trick us into doing more hate, 12 hours later, we're testifying at the State Board of Education in favor of more hate. So this is a continual assault, and we have to face it from every angle. And with that, I'm going to have a request for the administration that someone run a search of our policies for every place that parent or parent rights appears, because I would like to be armed with that information in the coming weeks and months to be able to proudly say how important parent engagement is to this district. I mean, we have a whole cabinet position dedicated to parent engagement. We have always had a very important focus on parent engagement. I mean, we've got 3-4 board members in the last 5 years that come as that were parents or are parents in the district. So I really want to take ownership of that language, just like Mrs. Barwick keeps teaching us about. We have to take ownership of this school choice language and talk about how many places, how often and how seriously we take parent engagement and parent rights so that we can continue to have those conversations and not get distracted by any challenges to transparency or access to your kids' education if you want it. So that is my political spot. And if there are no more comments by the board, I think it's time for our consent agenda, right? So I'm going to read through this. Items 6.01 through 6.30 are the consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent agenda and move it to the discussion section of the agenda as needed. 6.01 to 6.04 is the Human Resources Staff Development and Training Committee, co-chaired by Polly Taylor-Gherkin and Randall Parker. Items 6.05 and 6.12, Finance and Business Operations Committee, co-chaired by Bob Vasquez and Chris Larwig. Item 6.13, Technology Improvement and Process Committee. There are no action items this month from that committee. Those co-chairs are Polly Taylor-Gherkin and Bob Vasquez. Items 6.14 and 6.15 come from the Board Curriculum Instruction and Academic Excellence Committee, co-chaired by Polly Taylor-Gherkin and Chris Varwig. Items 6.16 and 6.26 are from the Policy Committee, co-chaired by Sheena Barnes and Bob Vasquez. Item 6.27, Arts, Athletics, and Student Activities Committee. There are no action items. That committee is co-chaired by Chris Varwig and Randall Parker. Family and Community Engagement Committee. No action items this month. The committee is chaired and co-chaired by Bob Vasquez and Sheena Barnes. We do have the approval of board meeting minutes in section 6.29, items 629 and 630, and I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Mrs. Varwig and seconded by Mr. Parker. Seeing no discussion, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Thank you. Section 7 of the agenda consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are here for information and reference. No action is required, so we can proceed to section 8, discussion items. We do need a motion for 8.01, which is the instructional session of the HR committee agenda.
So move.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Vasquez and seconded by Ms. Barnes. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwick,
Abstain.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Thank you. Section 9 is walk-ins. Are there any walk-ins?
No, there are no walk-ins this evening.
Section 10, Ms. Barnes, the early childhood education action items.
Yes, I would like to turn over to Dr. Amy Allen.
So we're asking for approval for 4 items this month. 10.01 is the new contract for our delegate Great Lakes Community Action for the new grant period, which begins December 1st. 10.02 is a delegate contract for Lucas County Family Council to begin again December 1st. 10.03 is a request for a budget amendment from our delegate, Lucas County Family Council. And 10.04 is a corrective action plan that was submitted to the Office of Mid-Star.
Thank you, Dr. Amy Allen. I would like to entertain a motion to move for 10.01.
Just make a motion. I'll make a motion.
Sure. Go ahead, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. Is there no discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for 10.02.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for 10.03.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion for 10.04.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes. Thank you. Dr. Amy Allen, anything further?
All set, thank you.
All right, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam President.
So there are no, that you've got those reports and minutes in section 11 that are here for the board members to read through, and there are no walk-ins, yeah? That's gotcha, okay. I'm caught up now. Section 13, I would like to request a motion to enter into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest, and to conference with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Vasquez, seconded by Mrs. Barwig. Seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Thank you.